Hello and welcome back, adventurers. This is Captain TTRPG, and today we're talking about Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Welcome back, adventurers. Today we are going to rank the subclasses for the Ranger. Before jumping in, though, let's go ahead and look back at the criteria I use for ranking subclasses. This will be just a quick refresher if you've watched any of my previous ranking videos, but for those who might need a refresher or have not watched one of my videos before, on screen, I'm going to throw up my rankings and talk you through them here. So I'll be ranking the subclasses from S to D. Subclasses are going to be ranked against each other, not against other classes. So it's not how well do I rank, the Flurry Ranger against the Bomber Alchemist. That's not a thing. It's just against its own class. So what is an S? An S is a subclass that is clearly mechanically stronger for combat than other subclasses, while not falling behind in the other pillars of play that naturally fit the class well. So this is a subclass that kind of becomes the default or the right way to play the class. I think Pathfinder really avoids this pretty well, so we shouldn't see many land here. Occasionally it'll happen, at least, but it shouldn't be too much. A, this is a subclass that will be strong in combat in any adventure. It not only is strong on its own, but makes the rest of the team feel stronger as well. Pathfinder is a cooperative team-based game, and good subclasses take advantage of that. Also, this subclass leans into the strengths of the class, sometimes even including social and exploration, but at least it makes whatever the class is good at, it makes it better. B, this is a subclass that mechanically is strong on its own, or does a good job to boost the rest of the party, but really not both. It may be especially strong in certain campaigns, but not in others, and may also land here because it just doesn't do a great job of leaning into what the class is best at. C is a subclass that lands here because it's just not as strong in combat in most campaigns, or at least is no better than the base class without a subclass. It might not take advantage of the specialties of the class at all, or it doesn't succeed in any pillar of play besides combat. And D, you might want to avoid this subclass. It's usually more of a trap, it detracts from the class, or it can bait you into types of play that either aren't going to be fun, or just aren't going to be very successful. There's likely nothing advantageous about a subclass that falls into D, and we shouldn't really see much happen here. Fantastic. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the Ranger then. With the Ranger, we only have 3 subclasses to rank. These are referred to in the class as the Hunter's Edge, and those are Flurry, Outwit, and Precision. I'll walk through each Hunter's Edge, discuss its strengths, combat and counterplay style, benefits to other pillars of play, and fit for the class before giving a final rating. In order to do that, we need to figure out what these subclasses provide. If you watched my Ranger video, this is really more of a recap. Each Hunter's Edge gives you 2 things. A level 1 initial benefit. This is a passive benefit that you gain that's broadly applicable usually. And then at level 17, you get a Masterful Hunter upgrade. This is just a boosted version of your initial benefit. And that's it. If you watched my class video, you know that the choice is more about play style than it is about the specific abilities. While some subclasses for other classes might give you a very specific set of actions to do that you revolve around, this isn't about that. This is about how do I affect the way that I engage in combat mostly. So let's start off with the Flurry's Hunter Edge. You strike quickly and with great accuracy. At level 1, out the gate, Flurry Rangers have reduced multiple attack penalty against their hunted prey. Normally, your multiple attack penalty is -5 or -4 if your weapons have the Agile trait after your first attack, and it's -10 with a -8 for those with Agile against second and anything beyond that on your turn for attacks. For Flurry, the penalties are -3 or -2 with Agile, and then -6 or -4 with Agile. This is already a very small penalty to your chance to hit, and really encourages attacking more times on a turn, which normally is not encouraged by the system. At level 17, your multiple attack penalty is now a -2 after the first attack, or -1 with Agile, and a -4 for your third attack and on, or a -2 with Agile. Basically, there's no penalty at all. You might as well just attack. Flurry Rangers are amazing at maximizing the number of attacks per turn. This lends themselves to dual-wielding playstyles or range builds with bows that can let you make just tons of attacks on the same turn. If you can make 3 strikes or 4 strikes, this is the character in Pathfinder2e to do that with. There are strong level 1 feats that do not have Flurry as a requirement, but benefit from it. Things like Twin Takedown or Hunted Shot, where you get to make multiple attacks with a single action. Nothing about this Hunter's Edge provides you any benefit in any pillar of play outside of combat, honestly. But considering that's going to kind of be a theme here, Outwit does get you a little bit, but really they're all going to be more combat focused. This one just does it in a really strong way that I'm back and forth between A and B on this one, but I'm going to give the edge of this one just barely to an A because it's so challenging for characters to be good at attacking more than twice in a single round or a single turn, and this is really the way to do it. So they get an edge for that. A little less heavy on the straight attacks in combat, and we're going to talk about the Outwit Hunter's Edge. So at level 1, you get a +2 bonus to any check to do with intimidation, deception, stealth, or recall knowledge against your hunted prey. You also get a +1 bonus to your AC against attacks coming from your hunted prey. So your advantage here is that you can, one, help your allies because recall knowledge is fantastic, but then kind of affect your hunted prey in different ways, causing conditions like frightened, or you could feint to make them off guard, things like that. At level 17, your bonuses go up to +4 with the skills I mentioned before, as long as you have master proficiency in them, that is. So if you haven't leaned into them at this point, then you're not going to get that +4. Your AC bonus will go to a +2 if you have armor that you are master proficiency in, which as long as you're wearing medium or light armor, you already are, and you probably could have taken feats to get heavy if you wanted to by this point, which you'd also be master in more likely than not. Outwit really gives you a completely different play style. It does potentially support teamwork, which is fantastic, by boosting your recall knowledge and your intimidation checks specifically. Deception helps for also creating a distraction, so these are great. Demoralizing creatures and recalling knowledge really are great bonuses to your allies as much as they are to you, even though they'll probably take more advantage of them than you actually will. The big issue for Outwit is that it provides you no numerical bonuses to damage or chance to hit, and that really hurts this specific subclass. As doing damage is a big part of what Rangers are here for, it hurts that this one really doesn't help you that much in that way. I just feel like this means Outwit falls solidly in B. Our last Hunter's Edge is Precision. At level 1, your first successful strike on every round against the hunted prey does an extra 1d8 precision damage. This becomes 2d8 at 11th level and 3d8 at 19th level. So just straight damage add-on, and there's a decent chance every turn you're going to land at least one attack, so can almost count it as landing. It's not as strong as something like Sneak Attack for rogues is, but it's not too far off. Keeping in mind that precision damage is something that a fair number of creatures are immune to, but that's probably still only like 15%. At level 17, now your second strike deals an additional 1d8 precision damage, as well as your first strike, which at this point would be dealing 2d8. And at 19th level, when your first attack is dealing 3d8 extra precision damage, your second strike will now deal 2d8. So you're adding a lot of damage on top of damage here, which can be really great. Precision Rangers are very flexible in their playstyle. The extra damage that they deal doesn't scale as well as more attacks can from weapons like you see with Flurry. It's still nice to have an easy way to have extra damage to count on. Once again, the subclass is entirely combat focused, but it does gain solid ground with certain types of bigger weapons that aren't agile or maybe that are two-handed or something of that nature. They also make it easy to have animal companion builds. While Flurry wants to use all of its actions to attack, Precision can give up one or more actions if it really wants to, because it just needs one to land that solid hit, and then at 17th level get 2, which by then you might even be getting an extra attack every round thanks to being hasted. I think because this is also between an A and a B for me, I actually think this is going to land along with Outwit in the B category. It doesn't do anything that other classes can't do, and I know we're not doing a class-to-class comparison, but Flurry really stuck out as something that other classes can't do, adding this extra precision damage, and it can be resisted sometimes. I just feel like it doesn't give you the opportunities that Flurry really does. Up on the screen right now, you can see a full chart with rankings. You'll see that the subclasses are very close in ranking, only covering 2 ranks. I think many people would consider Flurry to be the stronger of the 2 damage subclasses, and I'm inclined to agree. What do you think about these rankings? Would you have placed anything in S, C, or D? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'm going to likely continue to tweak how I record and edit these ranking videos in particular. I still think this one went better than the last ones did. Either way, you should go and play a ranger, and as always, adventure on.